morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you feeling today? For those who were just celebrating Father's Day yesterday, blessed Father's Day to everyone. So for those who, just a quick question, this quick trivia question here. For those who have managed to got an appointment for their vaccination jab, please press 1. Those who have not got any appointment, please press 2. Right. Quite a few people has gotten their appointment already. Well done. No, I need to go and see you. Those got appointment one, I can go and see you later. But those got no appointment, I don't want to see you. This is a joke, guys. Morning joke. I think we are in a very, very interesting time, right? Where who would know that having a vaccine right now, it's like a predetermined factor to decide whether are we able to cross travel somewhere. There was just an article this morning that talks about potentially if you want to travel interstate, the way that you are allowed to pass interstate travel is when you have a vaccine. There was just an article written today. And that's how important this vaccination is. Because that's how the way we can get out of this situation. Now, as we start today's conversation, before we start, I want to bring some perspective of what I personally think is going to happen in the terms of where the market is heading based on the crisis that we are in. We are in multiple crises right now, just so that you all understand this current situation versus last year. We are in a different crisis. It's a huge different crisis. Now, the first crisis we are in, of course, we are in a pandemic crisis. It's a health crisis, right? Not only is a health crisis, it's a healthcare crisis. What's the difference between health and healthcare is that healthcare is the corporate mechanism for the system in terms of the government's healthcare support for the pandemic. It's now at a very maximum threshold or even surpass the maximum threshold. We are in that situation. The death rates are higher. So it becomes a health crisis and a healthcare crisis. Second crisis we are in, if you're watching, we are in a political crisis. Now, I'm not going to be political today, but I'm saying that we are in a leadership or political crisis. And the third crisis we are in, which nobody is admitting and nobody is talking about it, which to me is the most important thing, is we are in the brink of an economic crisis. We are already in an economic crisis by shutting down everything and no support from anywhere, no funding from anything of whatsoever to maintain the businesses to stay alive. So we are in what we call, in my opinion, in my whole entire 17 years career, a perfect storm. And this perfect storm is scary because we don't really clearly understand what's the end game for this perfect storm. It's just a storm stirring right now. Now, I'll give you an example of, many people ask me, so would we be out of MC or would we be out and able to show houses in end of June? My answer, my short guess is no. My short guess is we'll likely be another 1 more month. At least, right? At least. And I think because of the stirring of this current crisis, be prepared that you are in a lockdown until end of July, probably beginning of August. End of July, I would think is probably very, very optimistic. End of August, beginning of August is probably what may likely happen. Now, I really hope that I'm wrong. This is the first time in my life I say I really hope I'm wrong, but based on the patterns I'm reading, based on the data that we are seeing, in terms of vaccination doses, in terms of cases coming down, very challenging for us indeed. So why I say that is because if then you know in July and August you are not able to go out and show houses, what are you going to do for your business? And that's the question you have to ask yourself to prepare. To be prepared for the worst, hoping for the best. Right? That's how I always behave. Prepared for the worst, hoping for the best. Because that's really in the perspective of what I see from the data that's happening right now and how the response of everything is going on. Nobody can come out with leadership and show us, okay, you guys can work here. There's no direction at all. right? The plan that I think we were hearing about, the 3 phases or 4 phases, to me is just an announcement without a plan, right? So we have no sight of what's going to happen. So because of that, I think it's critical for us right now to prepare ourselves. The conversations you'll be hearing us in the next few weeks as we are doing more in terms of virtual trainings and from the market center level, the regional level, is to support and help you think through in the next 6, 8, 9, 10 weeks. How are you going to function in your business? How are you going to work in your business? And today I thought that we are having a very good conversation with Joanne. Joanne Ong is an agent from Market Center 1. And she has a lot of preparation and a lot of her approach to the business is very digital based, physically enhanced approach. And I wanted her to share some of the stories. Now, she was in a masterclass with some people who qualified to enter the masterclass for technology last week and talk a little bit in detail. But today, I think I wanted her to share about her mindset and also a little bit of some of the best practices and also how she think about engaging clients and doing her business from a digital perspective, right? Also, there's also physical elements as well. But really, the conversation here is to help us prepare in the next 5, 6, 10 weeks. What are we going to do in our business? Because I suspect majority of us or majority of agents today are thinking that everything will be okay. It's not okay. And I'm not saying this to threaten anyone, to frighten everyone, but I'm telling you from a leadership standpoint, it is my duty and responsibility to tell you what I think is the truth that may happen. And I think it's not going to be okay. If we don't do anything very aggressive, very different moving forward, we might be out of the market. Or some of us, I can tell you some of us or some of the real estate agents in the market, by the end of this year, I will see 30 to 40% of them will no longer be in business because they have not been able to figure out what's the best way to reach out from a digital standpoint with their clients, right? And that's what we want to talk about today. So Joanne, thank you for joining us. Can you just kindly introduce yourself? I know some of us know you already, but just for the benefit of those who have not met you before, have not heard from you before, can you share a little bit about yourself, your background, real estate business, what do you do in real estate, and when do you join us and why do you join us? So go ahead.
And hi everyone, good morning. Thanks for having me again. It's an honor to be here on Power Mondays. So I'm Joanne Ong. I joined the real estate business as part-time agent in 2018 with Redfield actually in Bukit Jalil branch. So subsequently, when my bosses left to Viva Homes, so I joined them to Viva Homes because I wasn't really connected in a community in Redfield at that time. As a part-time agent. So I joined KW Redfield end of December 2020. So it's quite recent. I was a lawyer before, mother of 1. So yes, excited to be sharing. Yeah.
Yeah. So formerly a lawyer, mother of 1, real estate for 3 years. But full-time real estate, how long? How long was it when you full-time?
Honestly, full-time is only about, I only really did full-time end of 2019. So 1 year and 6 months, 1.5 months now. 1.5 year. Sorry.
Right, 1.5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 2021 right now. In this year, how many transactions have you done roughly? How's your business?
So since January, now it's June. So I have not closed any in June, which I'm feeling quite nervous already. But consistently from January to May, average is about 2 to 3 deals a month.
They're all sale transaction?
2 rentals, all sales.
2 rentals, all sales. So 2 to 3, that will be about more than 10.
9. Correct. Including project sales, yes.
Right. So more than 10 transactions in the past 5 months, and June is still counting. Because June.
Yes.
You close one. You sure close one. I know. No,
I hope so.
Right. So the past 5 months have been very good for you.
It's all right. Very surprising. I think I'm thankful for the result. Honestly, I was worried. I'm always worried when it comes to month end, but somehow, God is good that I managed to always close at the last minute.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think credit to helping you make sure that you are closing transaction every month? Can you give a bit of insight to that? What helped you to do that?
I think it's a lot to do with listings because I do my primary market is in sub-sale. So that's my primary focus. And we all know that in sub-sale, it's always about listings. And that's how I need to hit 5 listings a week. That's my goal before MCO. Yeah.
Right. So you have a GPS, you have a 411 goal, it's 5 listings per week.
Yeah.
And if you hit that daily goal or weekly goal,
yeah.
you are close to hitting it because listings brings you the right price listings, right? Are you in the market right now in repricing listings right now?
Yes, I am. So since we have the lockdown in 1st June, right? So that's when I realized that I have to speak to the owners and get them to reduce their price. If not, I don't think we will gain any traction at all or any inquiry. So there's really no point advertising already. If I remember correctly, during my first week of June, I really didn't spend money on portals because I know that the price isn't right. So I don't want to waste money. And I have to be honest with my owners and say that, hey, now we're in a lockdown. Do you still think that, this price that you were asking 3 months ago, it's actually feasible and realistic? So not many owners can accept the truth, to be very honest, but that also shows how motivated they are. And that helps me to prioritize which listing I should spend my money on. Because now it's all about lead with revenue, right? And right now, during this time when we are not closing, we really have to be very cautious on our budget. Yeah.
Right. And finding the right listing to market it is important, not just marketing for the sake of marketing, right?
Yeah.
So marketing with purpose, right? And I think most people don't get that because the hard work is to call the owners and face the music and say, look, Mr. Owner, you have to reprice. Because if you don't get this part right, how you market right now doesn't matter anymore. Because the listings that shows up have to be of a certain valuation or certain price point that the current consumer will be looking at. Correct. So that's the first foundation, right, Joanne? If you don't do that right, all your marketing activities, your scripts, your callings, and all that doesn't really matter for buyers because you are not bringing the right opportunity to them.
Correct. And nowadays, we all know buyers are looking for deals. So if you yourself looking at the listing and you don't think it's a deal, then speak to the owner. That's how I benchmark my listing. If me myself cannot be convinced that, hey, it's a good price, then I have to do the work to talk to the owners.
Right. Yeah. Now I know you're talking a bit about digital marketing today, but I just want to hang on here in this moment and you're talking about pricing because I think it's so critical. What are some of the steps you do to communicate with owners to look at repricing? How do you do it?
So before I call or before I text them, I really have to study the market first. Let's look at the competition first. I think that plays a huge part. Yes, past transaction is good, but a lot of time past transaction is really historical. Like it's not even relevant to our market right now. Just because, our BRICS report is just so delayed. We are not looking at transaction or price at 2021. It's all 2020 or even 2019. So we look at our competition. And if our competition is saying that, people are already dropping their price and your listing is not even moved, right? It shows that you are already losing the edge of competition. Your listing is not going to shine. There's no point featuring and paying feature credit over it because nobody's going to click onto it. Right. Yeah, that's how I see it. Yeah.
And when you see competition, how do you benchmark these competitions? Where do you find these competitions data?
Okay. I mean, the easiest way is portals, iProperty, Property Guru, to see in that neighborhood, are there any other inventory or any other similar listing, even if it's not in the same neighborhood, but the same district or the same concept. It's quite easy to find out. And you can see that, and you click on sort. You don't go and sort as relevant, but you sort as the lowest price listing. And that will really show that whether your listing is actually priced correctly according to the market. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And once you know that the listings are priced correctly, you know that, okay, I think now I have a shot. Now, just quick question, Joanne, in your own listing right now, how many listings do you have roughly that you think is priced correctly right now?
If it's priced correctly, I think I only have about less than 10, maybe about eight listings, which is priced correctly. Yeah.
And
out
the
of
rest,
40 plus. Yeah.
Out of 40 plus, right? So you're very specific about a listing. how do you consider this as a listing? Do you go and meet the owner, meet the property, inspect the property before you sell? Is that what you do?
Yes, I have to meet them even right now. So yesterday I just had a Zoom over with a client based in Singapore, which is selling a house in Malaysia. I didn't know it will work, but because I was hesitant, I haven't seen the house before. But I just made the effort to just trying to keep in touch with this owner to let him know that what my services are. And hopefully by listening to that kind of what you cover and what do you provide, and then moving on when the MCO is lifted, I can actually go and inspect the house. It was very successful. I didn't expect a fruitful conversation, but I think right now, owners right there who are looking to sell would really appreciate agents to take time to walk them through your services and what do you provide, what kind of data you can show them. So I think that's important.
Right. And when you say it was successful, explain to us, why do you think it was a successful conversation?
I got the exclusive. That's one.
Before seeing the house, you got exclusive?
Yes, before seeing the house. But I was very confident with the price. It was a very rare land size in Cheras. It's 25 times 99. So this kind of land area is actually very, very rare for an intermediate terrace house. That's one. And I feel that when I propose listing the price, right, according to the data I have, I didn't get much resistance from this owner, mainly because I think before I spoke to him, he was a referral, by the way.
Right.
So I spoke to this client that referred him to me. I trying to understand the background, and that's how I craft the listing presentation. So basically, I have to do some homework lah. Yeah.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. You believe in engaging clients on a digital standpoint. You believe in digital marketing strategies. And I think you have some samples and some examples to show us today. Why don't you just take over the screen and tell us your concept on digital marketing that you think works for you in your market. Now, just give some disclaimer to everyone, right? This works for her in her market. So it doesn't mean that it will work for you in your market, but you can understand and learn the concept behind it, right? Because every market is different. But go ahead, Joanne, just show us your screen and tell us a little bit about what are your best practices and how you think about your digital marketing strategies.
Okay, I didn't expect at all to share screen, but it's okay. I'll just share you a sample of what I did probably yesterday for the listing, which I didn't know that I would get an exclusive, to be honest. I thought I just want to get to know this client very quickly. So I think some of you have attended my listing presentation training, would have seen roughly this kind of how I do it. It's basically I tell them about what the price transaction is, what the bank indicative valuations, and then tell them about what is pricing in the market and pricing out of the market. And then I come with a listing price suggestion. So that's how I do it. I really focus on these 4 slides a lot. So the marketing part, depending on the client, some clients don't really care of how is it. But again, I learned this from Ganesh, actually, that he actually taught us you have to do a 6 months marketing plan. So it looks really legit. It looks like, you're committed to actually market the listing for the client in this manner. I don't think many agents out there are doing this. If you can just put this slide on, right, in your listing presentation, you will win already. Even though you don't win a listing, but you already win the mind share, which is important. So that's how I do it for listing presentation. If you talk about digital marketing, then I actually create like social media calendar. This is something I feel everyone can do it now since we're in a lockdown. If you want to work on branding yourself in social media platform, I find it very useful to just come up with a calendar, because in that way you won't miss out your daily post. So that's how I do it.
And when you say social media calendar, right, and you share a bit detail about this in the masterclass last week, but tell us why this is important to you, why you and you didn't start like that, right? I assume you didn't start with this, right? You started like randomly, let's just post something every day. Then one day you forget to post, I just forget to post. Then if I feel like posting something, I see something interesting, I want to post, right? But what made you decide that having a calendar, a system, a model to do certain things is critical right now?
Number one is discipline. So you won't miss out a day without posting something on your social media. And you can already plan ahead. So for example, a lot of these posts are actually already like scheduled like 1 week before it posts out. So it makes our life very easy. And in that way, right, your social media page is very systematic. So Monday, what is the content? Tuesday, what is the content? And I think the best thing about right now is regional is actually providing touch point. So we can just schedule that every single day to just go out. And so my strategy is on top of the touch point that is free content, right? I also generate one additional content for my social media. So on average, every day I would have minimum 2 posts. And that would actually create some engagement. And I think one of the tricks that you have to learn about social media is you have to join all the social media groups in your neighborhood, or the sub-sale property guru or property coach neighborhood. Like I'm in Alam Damai, so I joined the Alam Damai social media. And each time you post, you share into that group.
Right.
That's how, you know, people will always see you. And I think it's quite a good way to gain mind share. Yeah.
Right. How much time do you spend? How much time do you spend on this on a daily basis?
Not a lot. If you're talking about daily basis, I think it's just a matter of one day. You just take 2 to 3 hours to plan out next week's post, and that's it. You can just close your eyes. And each time it gets published, you just share it into those relevant neighborhood groups or people that you want to share your things with. Yeah.
Right. When you move from being very entrepreneurial, where we say that, okay, let's just post whenever we feel like posting and all that, to this in a very purposeful way, where it's structured, it's a systematic way, right? What has changed for you in terms of your business and the approach and the engagement on social media? What has changed for you personally when you make this in a structured way? Yeah.
I think for me, it makes my life easier. So I don't have to think what I have to post tomorrow because it's already been planned and scheduled a week before. That's one. Number two, engagement wise is there's a consistency to your page identity. Okay, so when people see this kind of design, they will know, they will remember that they'll relate to Jo Inc. From Redfield. And I think that's important. Like I said, digital marketing, right? For me, it's not so much about closing a deal for my social media page. That's not, I don't think I'm there yet, but it's about mindshare. It's about telling the neighborhood that, hey, you are who you are. And I think the client testimonial part is important. We all know that we don't need a degree or diploma to become a RAN, right? You know, everyone can become a RAN as long as you go and attend the course. But what gives you the credential and credibility, it's what people say about you. So I actually focus on that. I get my clients to write testimonial for me, and I post it on a regular basis. So yeah.
Right. So the very important point you just mentioned there, it's about credibility, right?
Yeah.
What inspires you to think like this?
Mainly because I think that, like I said, how do we be a credible real estate negotiator is actually what people think about us. There's no, like, I don't know, no one's going to shout about your success unless you tell others about what you did lah. And I think one thing I learned is, even though you didn't close that deal with this particular person, right, and you have already rendered your service to them, for example, you showed them a few houses, but they didn't buy from you, I think you can even try to tell them that, hey, can you please write me a review, even though you didn't buy from me? I just want to know how I can improve myself. And they will write for you. I have a few buyers that didn't buy from me and they actually wrote reviews for me. So this is something I think is zero cost, but it helps so much in terms of branding, in terms of establishing yourself. Right. Yeah.
Especially when you are very clear in your neighborhood that you want to focus on, you are hyper local in that location. And the credibility of how people think and talk about you is very important. How many of you in the chat room here today will realize if today you have an agent with a review and an agent without a review, who would you choose? Let's just do a survey right now. Press 1 for the agent with review, press 2 with the agent without review. Right? Natural, right? Because that's the gain. By the way, this is how consumer is changing right now. Do you notice when you go for Grab food, if you really get upset with the Grab driver, you just put at 1 star. If you are very happy with the Grab driver, you give him a tip and you press a 5 star. So the way that that the consumer is changing is that they are empowered now to talk about how good you are. They're empowered now to show whether is this a good rating or not good rating. How many of you go to restaurants right now and Google first? When you're in a location that you don't know anything, like if I go overseas, right, if I don't know this place, right, I would just Google food around me or Korean food around me, right? And then you look at what do you look at? You look at the rating or you look at the picture? You look at the rating first, right? Rating comes after that picture, right? And if the rating is below 3 stars in Google for restaurant, most of you won't even look at it, right? But if your rating is a 4 star, 3.9, 4.3, 4.4, you'll be considering that already, right? So rating and recommendation, same thing as watching movie. Yeah, thank you very much. Drama, watching movie, like everything now is a rating. So my question is, why would real estate will not have rating?
Exactly. Yeah.
Why? Why suddenly everything you do in your life, you are being rated? You are rating things, but when it comes to real estate services, why do you rate? Well, it makes sense. So the consumer is changing, and what Joanne is talking about today is the validity, the reason for it to have some validity in the way you run your business, and this is important. And I like it when you say that you have clients that never bought anything for you, still give you a review.
Yeah. Yeah, you will be surprised. I was very surprised, but I just casually asked, I know that, I didn't manage to secure the home that from my listing, but would you mind to just write something about the process of me bringing you for viewings and all these things? And they say, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk a bit about reviews, right? Because I think this is very important. Can you share what are some of the ways you would help or you get your clients to give you a review? What are some of the strategies that you will deploy to get reviews from buyers, sellers, or listing? What would that look like? Can you share with us?
So usually I will just WhatsApp them and say, congratulations that, you managed to rent a place at this area. It's, I would say that, I think my script is, market is very bad now. I just need a favor from you. Would you mind to write me a review on my Facebook page, so that it will help me to gain more exposure. Everything counts right now during this pandemic. So usually they will always say yes. Because you're asking them for a favor to write a review. It doesn't matter. You don't have to guide them how to write it unless they ask you. Other than that, I think it's just fine to just casually ask. Yeah.
Right. And do you have like a format? Like, do you have like a format for them to
I do. I actually create Google Forms for them initially, but I don't know why Google Form didn't work very well for me. So instead, I just straight away just text them and send my Facebook page, and then I want them to actually write on my Facebook page itself so that it's like genuine. If I put it in Google Form, one of the challenges I feel that I'm rewriting what they write and then I post it myself. So it doesn't look very credible, right? So I straight away just copy my Facebook page link, send to them and ask them to write on the post itself. Yeah.
Right. Can you show us some samples that you have? How many of you want to see some samples? You want to see some samples, please press 1. If not, ask you not to share. Okay, you want to see sample. Okay, cool.
Okay, can. Okay, here you go. So still working on it, still not many reviews. I just started this during FMCO. Let me see, refresh. Yeah, so here you go. So for example, Zara Koo, I didn't manage to secure a home for her actually for rental, but she still writes for me. Yeah, Rix is a buyer. Ik Milan is also a buyer. And then the rest, I don't know why it's not loading. But yeah, this is how I actually asked them to write it. Right. And Facebook, right, has a algorithm. Actually, they will actually rate for you. Facebook will rate for you. So as long as you get many reviews, then they will give you the star. Right. I just realized that. I thought it's something that my client can actually put the 5-star, but cannot. It's Facebook.
Yeah. So how many reviews would you need to at least initiate the star?
I don't really know. I'm still trying out. Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
And you also have the success review, right? Success testimonial, right?
Yes.
How do you do success testimonial?
What I do is, so when after they sign the SPA or maybe after handover of keys, Then I will ask them to write a longer review about how did it begin, how I took the listing, how I market it, and then how I secured them a buyer. So I think one of them wrote a really long review. Don't know why it's not loading. Yeah, but you can check out at your own at your own convenience.
Right. Yeah. So inside her page, Jo Inc.
Yeah.
If you could share the link of the page, there you go. Someone is sharing that out, right? Give her a like, and at the same time, go check out the testimonial. I think it's a very good example of testimonials and reviews. Back in those days, I remember when someone give a testimonial letter to you, you use that and you frame it out and show that that's my testimonial letter. But today, it's on a social media page, right? Today, this is so critical. And I think the way you're consistently showing up with content and also having all these reviews validates you as the real estate agent of choice in that location, right? So that's critical. Now, let's switch gears. You also like to tell stories about a transaction.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Okay, so every success, like just sold or even just listed, I will just chip in my story, the background of how I got the listing or the background of how this buyer buy the house. And I believe that everyone likes to read stories, not just about how successful you are, like, oh, just sold, and then, chat with me. I think if, let's say, you can just put a little bit more time to craft out a story, it makes a big difference now. Yeah, that's how I view it.
Yeah, can you show an example of one of the stories that you put? Now, this is a real story, by the way, because you know why? When you post that story up, I've got the managing director of Age Property message me personally, say, John, I think this story of your agent posting is amazing. Can I use this story as a content for my post in the Age Prop? Right? And let's talk about this story. What's the story about?
So this is a listing in my neighborhood in Alam Damai Cheras. So what happened is, apparently this retired couple has been looking for houses like 2 to 3 years already in Alam Damai, because her sister lives around here. So they're from Seremban, and when they saw my just sold on another house which they wanted to buy, right, they were so disappointed, but they just called me and said, hey, are you sure it's just sold? I said, yeah, it's just sold already. But I told them, I said, I have another one, which is just another street. Would you like to take a look? So immediately they said, oh, I'm in a neighborhood. We are from Seremban. Can we take a look right now? I'm like, okay, sure, So they view it and they love it. So second time they view it is the next day. So they actually drove back from Seremban again. This is all during CMCO. And immediately I told them, if you're really serious, I don't want you to make your life so inconvenient, go up and down from Seremban. Why not you take your checkbook over and then we'll discuss on the offer. And I know that it's going to sell out very fast because it's priced very, very well. It's even though it's 22,75, but it's fully renovated and the condition is very, very good. And it's priced below 900. And the offer came in at 840. So I felt that it's really good. It's quite close. And immediately the owner just accepted it. Yeah. So,
right. And that's the story you share, right? And the way you write the story, right? Even though sometimes it's a very common thing that most agents will go through, it's very common, but you decided to write this story, and the Age Property caught up with me and say, hey, can I post this up? And they actually did. They actually did a special post. There you go. They actually did a special post covering your story. So guys, if you are able to write stories about what has happened, and you don't have to create, the beautiful thing is you don't create a new story. Correct. You just exactly talk about the stories that you have been through. Be authentic, be real, and you put it out there in social media. People like to read good stories and real stories. Kisah benar, right?
Yes.
If you don't write real stories, it won't work. But these kind of stories are the one that showcase you as a relevant real estate agent. Relevant is hashtag Kisah Benar. We should do a hashtag Kisah Benar. Thank you for letting me, Charles. Maybe Yun Ching and marketing team, if you are listening to this, maybe we should do a campaign called Kisah Benar campaign. Right?
Sounds good.
And let everybody go and share about a real story, because you will show up as a real relevant real estate agent in the market, and people will think about you, right? Right. So let's move forward a little bit. And you write stories, you share stories, and you have your own brand. You create your own brand called Jo Inc. Tell us a bit about that. And that's your background, and you have your own website. Tell us a little bit about your concept of your brand.
Okay, so the way I came up with this is I'm inspired by Property Lim Brothers Singapore. So my former partner, Luke, actually shared them with me. And I feel that it's just so good because I realized that especially in the subsale market, right? We all know that subsale market is mainly we're selling used product, okay, secondhand. And if let's say developers are packaging new launches so well, I think as subsale agent, we should package our product even better than them. Okay, since it's used, right? We have to learn how to showcase our properties. We should learn how to create USP for our products and market it in the same way as how new launches will be marketed. And I feel that it's important. If let's just, for example, I recently sold my drone in Carousel, and the way I see how people market it, right? Actually, pictures really is very important. The quality of photos, even you have videos, just show the video, and all these things really would help your listing shine. And that's how I believe in it. I don't believe in just putting out on portals and waiting people to call you right now. It's so passive. You're no longer reaching out the broader audience out there, especially on social media platform. But if you can be more active, if you can create a story for your listing, or even put a better picture, or get video to come in, or even using Matterport, right? All these tools are really, really fantastic to just make your listing shine out there. So that's how I believe how we should actually market our property. And that's why my tagline is, I believe in changing the way properties are marketed. Yeah, I'm inspired by Property Lane Brothers.
Right, the one from
Sure.
Singapore,
Yeah.
right? Property
Yes.
Brothers, which is also, by the way, a Gary Keller fan.
Yes.
Yeah, Gary
We're trying
Keller
to get him to speak for us.
Right. So we are all mooting for you to talk to him and bring them to do some course classes with us. But so the goal is to figure out what's the best new way, most innovative but impactful way to market your property. And you created a brand. Why do you think you need to have a brand, even though you're now a solo agent with an assistant? Why do you think a brand is important for you right now? Let's talk a bit about that.
I think is if you don't sell yourself, basically no one will actually think about you. Again, it's all about gaining mind share. And a brand, some may say that, it's just so costly or it's so time consuming, it's not worth doing it. I just want to sell a listing and that's it, that's my goal. But in the long run, to be sustainable, to stay in the game, right? If you don't enter into the digital sphere, you will lose out in the long run because people just don't remember you anymore. And having a brand actually can help you to reach out to broader audience and even being in international platform. So it's really a long run lah. It's something that you have to just sow consistently to see the result. Yeah.
Right. And if you don't do this, when someone Google about you, nothing comes out.
Correct. Everything is about background check right now. Yeah.
Right. You even clients stalk you, right? Clients want to understand who you are. They want to search who you are. They want to think about who this person is. They will go and Google you, right? And then if you have no content out at so whatsoever, and another competitor who has more content to you or some content, you are already showing up as not valid.
Yeah.
Even though you are personally a very good agent, by the way, you are fantastic, you are good. But if you don't show up when I do a search about you, you are likely to be seen as invalid.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. And that's what's frightening you to wanting to make sure that you are always seen valid online first, right? But you got to be the offline, you got also have to be the offline validity there. It must be both, right? So just because you got a beautiful website, but you cannot deliver what you say on the website, it won't work as well.
Yeah, correct. I mean, it's like a scam already lah by then. People know you're a scam agent. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. In your journey of some people say digital marketing, understanding branding, all this it can be very complicated. It can be very difficult. Or maybe I'm not texting. What are some of the challenges that you face when you are deploying some of these strategies or exploring this? And how did you overcome those challenges?
I think for digital marketing strategy, the challenging part is we won't know until we do it. That's sadly the thing. I cannot tell you that whether this post work or this content work until you post it out there. and let the audience judge your content, basically. So for me, it's, you just have to generate the content. You just have to copy and paste somewhere. Even if you don't want to show your face, right, you can show your listing. Put some, I think the point is to put a content out there, whether or not it's copy from the web. You can just go and Google and search some keywords, and then you just copy that and post it in your Facebook. It is still better than nothing. Okay, that's how you learn trial and error to see what content actually works for your market. Yeah, so the challenging part is I cannot know the result before posting it. So I just have to do it. Yeah, and then tweak it along the way. Yeah.
And how do you calibrate your mindset? Because I assume that all of us, including yourself, don't like to do something and have no return one.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I
so
know.
But how do you calibrate yourself to accept that, oh, this post didn't generate anything, there's no traction, no like, nothing at all. So technically it may be a failed post, right? Or it may be a failed attempt. How do you calibrate your mindset that you don't think that way?
I think first of all, the content, right? It actually is zero cost lah, to be honest. And for me, it's about generating the quantity of content first, and then we sieve out and see which one are the quality ones, and then we focus on those quality ones. That's how I do it. It's still about quantity at this point in time when you are still testing what works and what don't work. Yeah. So the calibrating of the mindset is, don't do also die, do also die, might as well just do it and then see how the result will generate income in the long run. Yeah.
Right. And you're absolutely right, because if you don't do anything, you already know the outcome. The outcome is already fixed already. Like the end already, you're not valid, you're not connected to the market, you're not realistic, you're not relevant anymore. So you don't do, if you choose not to do anything, that is already a expected outcome. Right. So now if you do something, you have a chance to change that outcome, right? You have a chance to change the outcome. Great. And do you spend a lot of money in social media right now? Do you spend a lot? What are some of the costs that you spend on in building this brand or this effort in your social media focus?
Okay. For a start, right? I actually did spend some money to create the website and to have a domain, subscribe to Canva. I did have a cost for it. Reason why is because I just don't know how to do it, and I don't want to spend time in building. I know Naki is really good at that. He's the one that really built everything with himself, and like he spent hours doing that, because I had a Zoom session with him before I asked Fiverr to do it for me. So Fiverr is like a freelance platform where you can hire them and they will create something for you at quite a low price. So I weigh the cost and time. I just feel that, okay, I might as well just pay someone to do it. So for rookies agent out there, I don't think you need a website yet, but Facebook page is at zero cost. Just start with that. Since you're running campaign, you might as well just generate content to make your page more relevant. Eventually you don't need to pay money to actually boost your page.
Right.
That's how I think.
Okay. How about some agents right now, even though I might not be a rookie, but I'm actually an established agent, but I have not started anything right now.
Pay someone to do it. Pay someone to do it. I'll just break it down, right? So my website design costs about 670 ringgit. Okay. Full-fledged, full running website, including mobile website. Okay. And then my domain costs about 60 ringgit for 2 years. I subscribe to Canva Premium, that is about 250 ringgit per year. So if you calculate it, right, it's only about roughly 1,000 ringgit to have your website fully functioning, your copywriting, your listing out there, to have a very nice Canva feature so that you can design your own content and the domain. I think it's not bad lah. 1,000 ringgit to start.
Right. Yeah. Can you share your website link inside the chat box so that everyone can take a look as a sample? I like a website because it's very clean, it's very simple, but it's very, very presentable. yeah, if you all go to the website after today's conversation, go and use that as a good example. But there are many, many trends, but I think I like her style because it's very clean. It suits her characteristic. It suits her image, right? So that's important, right? And you say go leverage on someone to do it, right? Don't figure out your own. You don't have to, right? Right? Do you think that spending how when you spend the money and you see the whole website coming up, how long did it take?
1 week. I think the first draft came back about the 4th day after I submit an order. So the first draft came on the 4th day. I think the final completion is about 7 days. So it's pretty good. Yeah.
Right. Jasminder, the website, Fiverr.com is actually where you can hire a contractor, a subcontractor to do the thing for you. And they have a lot of people. You go to the platform, I think they can see. What is the web host that you use, Joanne?
GoDaddy.
GoDaddy, okay.
Yeah, GoDaddy.
And is it a Wix base or is it what's the base of your website?
The back end I'm using Wix.com. Yes.
Wix.com. Okay, so Wix is a Wix.com base. There are a few there are WordPress, there are Wix, right? Yes. But talk to the person on Fiverr. Don't waste time doing your things your own. Get someone to do it. Pay for it. 1,000 ringgit is when you saw the website after a week. How did you feel?
I feel good because I really did try to be manual about it because Wix.com is technically free. Okay. So I try to play around it and I find that the time put in it is just too much. And there's so many details that I have to YouTube and learn how to have this plugin, how to have this website link into it. It's crazy lah. So I figure out just paying someone is so much better.
Right. Right. There's a question for you. How do you maintain so many portals at one time?
Get an assistant. So to me, it's about getting an assistant. So Suli has been really helpful in helping me to maintain all the portals. So we have a system. So for example, once we get a listing, okay, an exclusive or a general listing, so she will then post it on few platforms, social media, portals, and what else? Yeah, social media and portals, basically. And we make it consistent. So we always create templates. So for example, if I have a listing, my just listed template will be like that. So she just need to drag and drop the photos and work on the copies and then just post it out. So for me, the challenging part is creating templates and creating a flow. But once you get that into your workflow, right, with your team or even for yourself, right, it's a lot easier. Yeah.
Right. There's a question here. Do you still pay the people from Fiverr to maintain the website? You maintain your own, right? The website.
I maintain my own.
It's a one-off, and then you edit, and you're able to edit and post listings in your own website as well, right?
Yes, correct. It's very simple because the backend is Wix. And before they hand over their job, right, they will actually teach you how to edit your website and how to post new listings. So it's very, very good.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's okay. So you answered that question. There's a question by Mei Fong here. What's the cost of keeping an assistant? How much would you pay an assistant?
It's really up to your budget. Okay. Right. I also struggled to come up with an amount, but I think when John told me we all have to lead with revenue, right? So it really depends on what your budget is, and then you try to interview people, and if the person said, yeah, why not, and then you just try. Yeah. Right. And right now there's also virtual assistant on Fiverr, which you can also do it. It's pretty cheap. Yeah, virtual assistant.
So here's my short answer to that, right? It depends on your business that you're in and how much you can afford. But I would consider a full-time assistant. Now, if you cannot afford that, that means you are not doing enough business to afford that. So you got to do your own.
Correct.
Until you are doing enough business when you can afford it. The minute affordability comes because you have enough revenue to fund it. So if you're not enough revenue to fund it, likely you're not doing enough work. Likely, right? So you got to do the things that's important first, and you got to do some of the things by yourself and force yourself to come to a certain level and get hired a full-time assistant. Now, I have advised agents, right? Hire assistant as high as 7,000 ringgit a month. Wow. Because your business is at that level. So if you hire a 2,000 ringgit assistant and you want them to do $1 million business, you are asking, doesn't make sense, right? You got to understand where you are and what kind of assistant that you need. Now, maybe for Joanne, she's having the first assistant, and as she grow, the assistant also grow together with her. So it all depending on where your business is. Do not, it's not a fixed cost. It's a cost that is relevant to the business that you are in right now. You must remember that all the time. So I give you a good example. If you go to Hai Di Lao, which is a very famous steamboat restaurant, right? All the staff there minimum paid 3,500. One of the highest in the F&B, because the standard is there and the customer is paying for that standard. So with that, you hire that kind based on that value. So I would argue based on your business, what's the budget that you have, and then go and find a talent that can fit the budget. And here Joanne managed to find a talent, which is also in our group right now, a part of our company, and now is billing. How has that worked for you right now with an assistant? How has it helped you in your business?
I think it helps me a lot. In terms of, she's the one also doing dollar generating activity for me. So for example, whenever I launch a command, and when there are leads coming in, she'll be the one following up the leads and then set appointment for me. So we have our team goal that we have to achieve. And she will take care of all the designs, posting on portals, following up with some of the age prop inquiries, things like that. So that's how I think it's been really good. And I'm the person that I don't like to work alone, especially solo agent, right? But when you have an assistant, actually the assistant is also someone that you're accountable for, and you guys can brainstorm together and things like that. So it's good. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Let's switch gears towards, and anyone have any questions, please put in the chat box as we talk. But let's go and switch gears a little bit right now. Now, you joined KW Malaysia with you December last year. You were exposed to a lot of things. What are some of the things like technology, values, community has helped you in your marketing or branding your business in this season or this journey? Share a little bit of your experience.
Okay, so what I like about KW, one of the main things that attracted me to join back Redfield, it's definitely the technology. Why do I say that? It's I've never seen a real estate agency who aspire to be a tech company. Like KW is one of them worldwide. Their aim is to be a tech company, and it's to me it's out of the box. To me, they have a visionary leaders that can see what real estate agents need. So that's what attracted me to join them. And since I joined them, for example, like Matterport and Command, right? I have not closed any, to be very honest, I've not closed any from Command leads. But just the fact that we are moving forward with KW worldwide, that is already a win for me personally, in terms of branding, in terms of the value I can bring to my clients. So yeah, I feel that being in this kind of agency, we will be already the first in line to get the best technology to differentiate ourselves from the rest.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's talk a bit about communities. You are a firm believer in being in the community. And right now you now join, not only from Subsale, but you are joining a project community right now. And you're doing live shows in Chinese, live show. And you all just had an event a few days ago, and your closed transaction or event online right now. Tell us a little bit about your community that you are in right now, and why community is very important for you?
Yes, I think it's very important because we tend to have blind spots, and having people to talk with and to with the same mindset and values, right? It feels that I have a mirror that can actually reflect my weaknesses and also maybe to help me shine better with my strengths. So without being in a community, you tend to just do things alone blindly, that no one gives you feedback, no one gives you suggestion or even encouragement when you need them. So that's how I really appreciate the community that I joined right now with John Quack and Calvin in the Summit Velocity 2 project. It's a learning curve for me because I have never done project at all. So just trying to learn new things from other people.
Right. And how has that helped you in your journey right now? How has that helped you?
Very much on the encouragement point of view, because as Subsale agent, when we have failures or roadblocks, right, we tend to I feel stuck. So they gave me a lot of inspiration and encouragement and new ways or innovation to move forward. So that has helped me a lot. Yeah.
Right. So tell us a bit about this new thing that you are doing in terms of online events to generate leads for project-based clients. Like now you're doing that a little bit. You're hosting online events, and I think last Saturday you had about, I don't know, 50, 60 people came, 80 over clients came to the event or something like that. And then you got bookings, right? You all got bookings coming in already. Tell us a little bit about the experience of how what we thought cannot be done is now being done right now. Like you can book units on Zoom right now. Tell us a bit about the experience, please.
Okay, so it's very simple. I think when we were doing just physical, right? As an agent, if we put ourselves in a sales gallery, we probably can only handle maximum 3 clients a day on a physical appointment. Morning one, afternoon one, maybe late afternoon one, because each appointment 1-to-1, it will probably take about 2 hours on an average project presentation. But on a virtual event, we can actually use the same time, 2 hours or 1 hour even, to actually speak to 80 people. And it's so much more effective. And it also creates urgency among the buyers. Like they will say, oh, 80 people are coming, or units are being booked. So that kind of, urgency and like a watch party thing it works lah. It works. Yeah. And only during FMCO we can do that, because if we don't have FMCO, this kind of virtual event wouldn't work. People will want to go physically, right? Yeah.
Right. And the people that came are all the sphere of influence from other agents that brought in, right? It's not 100% yours, right? It's other agents bringing in the sphere of influence. And I think it's critical because if we know that we won't be out of our homes until August or July, and I also think that it's not like back to normal in August or so. I think a lot of people wouldn't want to go to an event. If you launch a developer event or an open house event right now, after August when we can go out, you may not have enough crowd. So you want to filter with a Zoom event first. Then confirm a physical appointment from the Zoom event. So it was like a filtration system, right? So whoever goes through the Zoom and wants to come to the physical one, the chances of them being interested is high. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely. So I think this is something that, especially rookies agent, if you really feel very lost, you have no listings and you don't know what to do, right? It's good to just join all these platforms or even project people, because they actually do provide tools for you to reach out to your SOIs. You don't need to do the job. You only need to invite them to such virtual event, and then let the team do the selling, let the team do the presentation, and you just do the follow-up after that. And the best thing about it is, after that kind of virtual event, right, the team will actually conduct how to follow up with your clients after attending a virtual event. So technically, you already get training and tools from these people, experienced project leaders, to help you to close some sales during this FMCO.
Yeah, and I echo that. I also think that it shouldn't be only for rookie agents. I think any producing agents right now, if you're hearing this, if you are stuck, you don't know what to do, you have no clarity in your business, join this group so that you begin to feel and understand how to see how they engage online with people. And then you can use that same method to engage your own sub-sale clients online as well. I'm seeing a lot of agents now doing online Zoom presentation, even for sub-sale, right? And I want us to be that champion for them right now, because if you do it this way, you are setting a long line waiting for you of appointments waiting for you once we are out. Now, once we are going out, right, you have a long line of appointments ready. So your job today as a real estate agent is to get enough people in that line waiting to see you and have appointments with you once we are open. That's your number one job. Because if you don't, the agent that have the line will beat you.
Yeah.
It's very simple. The agent that have the line will beat you in your market right now. So your goal is to make sure you get engaged and have those appointments set up. Joanne, thank you so much for joining us. Give me a few minutes. I'm going to make some announcement. Then maybe we'll come to you for some last thoughts. Marcus, can I have the announcements? How many of you are learning something from her today? How many of you learning something from her today? Marcus, announcement, please. Thank you. Right. One person only learning. What happened to you all? The rest. Right. So we are having our training programs going on as well. We are doubling down. If you notice, almost every day right now, there's a program. Why we are doing this is because we want to encourage and we want to be the voice for you to make sure that you are able to continue on this business in this tough market. We are not stopping. We are showing you a model. Even we are now engaging with you guys 100% so that you can use the same mindset to engage with your clients 100%. So trainings are going on. I want to point you to a special class tomorrow. Next slide. Now, Jonathan Quack and his team has been very open enough to create a masterclass tomorrow. And this, I'm sorry, again, this is only for agents in Keller Williams, Malaysia or Redfield. You are invited to join this masterclass, how to use your sphere of influence to make 25,000. They basically will give you some tools, tips, and some strategies, and also some tools from marketing collaterals and all that to touch points with someone tonight. I'm sorry, not tomorrow night, tonight. Sorry, old already. This year turning 40, so the mind not so straight already. Sorry. So it's tonight. It's a special masterclass where you are bringing your sphere of influence. Can I have the slide, please? Why is my slide off? Marcus? Right. Yes. So please sign up for this training. Sorry, if you're an agent from Redfield, you will get a link for tonight. I will highly encourage you all to join this because this team has been having very good success right now. And they are willing to share with everyone. And they came to me and say, hey, I think if we could encourage every agent in our company to do something with their SOI and make some money, it will help everyone out, right? So please sign up for this. Please come for this training tonight. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, we're also running a competition, right? For every agent from the date of 15th of June until 27th of June for 2 weeks, right? We are running a competition for agents to create the highest number of new listings, right? And the way you have to participate, these are the rules and regulations. If you are not clear, please check your market center support. It's based on the highest total number of new listings created within these 2 weeks. Our goal is to help you to create new listings. And if you are and we're going to select one winner per market center. We have 3 market centers. So the top agent that posts the most listings within these 2 weeks, right, will win a 1,000 Edge property credits, as well as $50 for KW command campaigns per agent per market center. So one agent in one market center stand a chance to win this listing, and the minimum listing must be 10 new listings, cannot be less than that. The minimum entry is 10 new listings into Edge Property Portal to qualify for the competition. No duplicates are allowed. We will vet through the duplicates. So please participate. This is a way to encourage you to win more credits for marketing and to win more dollars for credits for your command campaigns as well. Next slide, please. Right, so our touch points are there. Just like you heard what Joanne has shared, touch points are very important. It is, if you have no time, this is the touch point that we create for you to engage your clients offline and online so that you are able to show up as a valid agent with content on your social media or on your WhatsApp messages. Next slide, please. Right, we are still collecting a donation. Next slide. We have, I think, gotten 31 laptops and about $11,000 collected. So please continue to support us in this. We are waiting for the MCO to be lifted up so that we can start sending the laptops and donating the money to Marco. So do keep this coming and send this out to your client. This is a good touch point to your clients and say that, hey, why do you participate and partner with us to support everyone else? Okay, so that's for the announcement. So Joanne, any last parting conversation, words or encouragement to everyone here? And if I'm an audience here, in the audience here, I'm struggling with doing virtual-based marketing or creating content for myself or building my own website and all those things, right? Yeah. And now you have showed me some stuff. Yeah. What are some of your advice and what are some of the things that I should be doing first?
Work on your content. Just create a social media calendar. That's one thing you can do this week. Create a social media calendar, pull in all the touch point, put it down, and then copy from other people and just, be consistent. As you go along, it is very, very easy. And I think one of the encouragement that I want to share just from a quote, right, is this: those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Those who go out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with them. And I want to believe that by the end of the year, we will be coming back, we'll be reaping the harvest with songs of joy. Even though we're all crying right now, trust me, I'm also crying, but, knowing that we are consistently sowing our seed right now, we will reap the harvest. Yeah.
Right. And it's all about sowing the seeds, because whatsoever a man soweth, so shall he reap, right? Whatever we reap after this is based on what we are going to sow. So thank you for encouraging us today. Thank you everyone, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope this has been a great encouragement to you. Please express your gratitude to Joanne for taking time off her business, taking time off being a mother, a wife, a family person as well, and really openly sharing without any boundaries. And she's very authentic and very open about it, and show you all the examples. So thank you very much, Joanne, for being here with us. And for the rest of you guys, stay tuned for the next training. We will see you in the next session. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good weekend. Have a good week ahead.
Is a bloom, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town.